What is true justice? And what kind of gospel are we proclaiming? But what if I told you everything we've been told about hell was a complete misunderstanding? What if God's perfect love truly is unconditional and unfailing? What if God's justice wasn't about retribution but restoration? And what if, at the heart of Christian theology, there's a long forgotten belief that God cannot fail and that he will actually succeed in doing what he desires, saving everyone? This is Christian universalism, and it's not wishful thinking. It's a serious theological tradition rooted in scripture, championed by early church fathers, echoed in other faiths and mystic traditions. And it's being rediscovered today by people who believe God's love really is unstoppable. Christian universalism is a belief that all people will ultimately be saved and reconciled to God, not by any path they choose, but through Christ alone. It doesn't deny sin, hell, judgment, or free will. It affirms that God's judgment is real, but its purpose is correction, not unending punishment. It's not that there's no hell, it's that hell is not the end. This isn't the same as pluralism, nor is it claiming that all religions lead to God. It's the belief that Jesus Christ is victorious completely, that he came to save the world and will not lose a single soul in that mission. Universal reconciliation isn't some New Age heresy. It was openly taught by some of the earliest Christian theologians. Origen in the 3rd century, one of the most influential church fathers, taught apokatastasis, the restoration of all things. Gregory of Nyssa, called the Father of Fathers by the 7th Ecumenical Council, believed that even hell was purifying, not eternal. Clement of Alexandria, Diodore of Tarsus, Theodore of Mopsuestia, all held variations of this belief. In fact, universalism was one of several respected theological views in the early church, especially in the East, before Augustine's doctrine of eternal torment became dominant in the Western church during the 5th century. The idea that God's justice is restorative, not retributive, isn't unique to Christianity. We see it reflected in Jewish mysticism or Kabbalah, where God's fire is seen as a refining agent. Islamic Sufism, which speaks of a divine mercy encompassing all things. Hindu and Buddhist traditions teach cycles of purification and return to source. Even Christian mystics across the centuries, from Julian of Norwich to Jacob Boehme, have pointed toward universal restoration. Across traditions, there's a recurring theme. God's nature is love, and love doesn't fail. And you might be wondering, but doesn't the Bible teach eternal hell? Well, it's not that simple. The New Testament uses words like aionios, which is often translated as eternal, but more accurately means age during, a period with a beginning and an end, and don't inherently imply endless conscious torment. Words like Gehenna, Hades, Colossus, and even the lake of fire are often misunderstood or mistranslated and don't inherently imply endless conscious torment. Meanwhile, verses about God restoring all, drawing all to himself, becoming all in all, swallowing up death, and reconciling all things are often overlooked. Today, universalism is often labeled heresy, but ironically, it may be older than the doctrine of eternal hell itself. There's a growing movement of scholars, pastors, and believers around the world who are re-examining scripture, church history, and theology, and discovering a bigger gospel. Not everyone gets a free pass, but no one is beyond redemption. Modern thinkers like David Bentley Hart, Robin Perry, Thomas Talbot, and others are making a strong biblical and philosophical case for universalism. In this video, I've just scratched the surface, but in the series, we're going deep. We'll explore what the Bible really says about hell, judgment, and eternity. The early church has lost teachings on universal reconciliation, word studies in Greek and Hebrew, the connection to mysticism, Jewish and Christian, near-death experiences and visions of the afterlife, what God's justice really looks like, and what it means for every soul. And we'll do it carefully, honestly, and without fear, because God's truth doesn't need to be protected from questions. It just needs to be pursued. If you've ever felt like the God you were taught about didn't match the Jesus you've come to love, if you've ever questioned eternal hell but didn't know where to run, or if you just want to understand the Bible more deeply, this is the place. This is the time. Let's rediscover what